What happened to Fernando Alonso in Jeddah? Why was he penalized and then they cancelled the penalty? I saw many people in Instagram talking about Article 16.3, so I made this video to explain you everything briefly, step by step. Right after the start of the race, Alonso has been given 5-second penalty due to incorrect positioning on the starting grid. He stopped the car too much on the left, so having the left-hand side of this car outside of the grid box, the penalty was obvious. Was it a fair one? Was it too much? I mean, that's a rule. It's written in the regulation, so there is nothing to argue. So those 5-second penalty had to be served at the first possible pit stop, which happened exactly during the safety car. So considering that during the safety cars, the drivers lose almost half of the time for the pit stop, is it correct to serve a penalty during the safety car? The answer is yes, you can. So up until this moment, Fernando is okay. The pit stop seems to go smoothly. The mechanics waited 5 seconds and then after that, they changed the tires. So it was not like in Bahrain. You remember that Alpine touched Ocon's car before the end of the 5-second penalties, so they got an additional 10 seconds penalty. In this case, the mechanics did not touch the car. So at this point in time, both race control in Saudi Arabia and the FIA stewards team in Geneva reviewed the pit stop and saw nothing wrong. Then we get to the last lap of the race. Lap 50 out of 50. Only now the Geneva offices, which are called ROC, that stands for Remote Control Operation, only now they told the stewards, wait a minute, we just realized that there was something wrong with Alonso pit stop. Why just now? Maybe it's possible that they were tipped by another team, so they wanted to review the pit stop once more. At this point, they realized that the rear jack of the mechanic touched the car before the end of the 5 seconds. So why did the mechanic act like that? Probably he wanted to position himself ready. So at this point, the steward reviewed the pit stop and decided that it went against the rules, because the rule states that while serving the penalty, no mechanic can work on the car. So they gave 10 seconds penalty to Alonso, who therefore finished the race behind Russell, and Russell went to the podium. Then, a few hours later, FIA notified that they withdrew the penalty, and Alonso was back on the podium in P3. What happened? Aston Martin guys were super smart to build the defense case. During a sporting advisory committee, where the sporting rules are discussed with the teams, all the teams agreed to one exception of the rule that prohibits the mechanic on working on the car. And this exception is the front jack. Why? Because during a pit stop, almost every car hits the front jack, because they use it as a reference to where stop the car. So in almost every previous situation where a driver was serving a penalty, almost everyone touched the front jack with the car, and that was considered by everyone fine. So the Aston Martin guys says, if the car can touch the front jack, why can't it touch the rear jack as well? If you didn't penalize other drivers before us for touching the front jack and gaining no advantage, why penalizing us for touching the rear jack and gaining no advantage? Well, this logic works perfectly. The steward accepted it and cancelled Alonso's penalty. So, do I agree with this logic? I think it's just a technicality about gentleman agreement. What I think is that it would be much easier to have a clear rule, which is nobody and nothing can touch the car. I do believe that before next round I will clarify this issue. So, just to finish the video, there was some confusion about the article 16.3. I saw it on Instagram, many people commenting on Formula 1 page, because this article states that a competitor must be notified about the decision regarding him in no more than 25 minutes. Everybody in Instagram is saying that Alonso was notified 30 minutes before the incident, so the penalty was not fair. Well, actually, they're wrong, because FIA notified all the penalties in the correct time. Because the second review of Alonso pit stop happened in the final lap and not during the safety car. Because that is the moment when the review has been requested to the stewards. So the article 16.3 was totally respected. In my Italian channel I did a post-GP about the race where I talk about everything, technical stuff, strategies, overtakes. If you want this kind of video also for the English channel, let me know. So for the next races I will do it. Thank you, bye bye.